the expectations obvious are going to be really high next season. Are you okay with that? And secondly, do you address it with your guys this summer?
I'd say first, really what the outside or the external says about us, I think, is a compliment to what we've accomplished, what the young men have done in years past. At the same time, doesn't really have a whole lot to do with anything. We weren't preseason anything the last 3 years, and we had pretty good years. So the important part is that we do the hard work, we keep the focus every day, that our guys just keep their mind there, because it really doesn't matter what anybody outside of our locker room thinks. It matters the work that we do every single day, and that's where we need to keep our focus. That's my job, to make sure our guys keep their head right there.
You have credited summer workouts with setting the tone for how your team plays over the last few years. Is that easier when you have so many guys coming back?
Yeah, I don't know if it's easier. It's because we're demanding a lot of effort. We're demanding a lot of discipline, accountability. What it does is it elevates or elevates the bar with the guys who do return, that we demand more from them, that we demand them to take a positive step forward. So we're fortunate to have more continuity on our roster than what we've had in past years, but at the same time, I think that elevates the standard and accountability, not only for them, but then their responsibility to help elevate their teammates.
What has been the response with this group?
Yeah, it's been a competitive group. I think we're fortunate to have a lot of veteran guys, whether they've had success in our program or elsewhere, guys that have won games, played in big games, have experience under their belt. So we're finding our practice environment to be highly competitive. Feel like depth is a huge strength, and going to continue to challenge guys every day. We're going to continue to value that competitive, hard-nosed, that grit and that toughness, and the guys that can demonstrate that every single day put themselves in our team in a great spot.
What's Milan's next step? Because he obviously accomplished a lot, showed a lot as a freshman, big accountability guy. What has he done in the offseason to put himself in a position to be even more successful, impactful, all that?
Yeah, he's a tremendous worker. I mean, there's not anybody that works harder than him in terms of working on his game, putting the time in. He's extremely intelligent. He figures things out, and he's got great work capacity and work ethic, so he gets better. In the weight room and with Coach Link, our strength and conditioning coach, the way his body's moving, his explosiveness, his lateral quickness, his strength. I think he's probably 12 to 15 pounds bigger and stronger. We're starting to see him now. He's the one guy in practice today with his sleeves cut off. So feels a lot better about where his body's at. Certainly he's done the hard work. And I think for him it's more, asserting his talent, his dominance in all that he does well every single possession. I think we all recognize his touch, his shooting ability, and his skill. And I think for him it's, defensively on the glass and in every which way impacting winning every possession.
Each of the four transfers that have come in, can you go through each of those four kind of early impressions and maybe their fit early on that you're seeing?
Yeah, well, Joshua Jackson has not been able to participate live yet. Very familiar with him, had a lot of confidence, recruited him at my last stop. Just feel like he's very cerebral, talented, forward that has versatility on the front line, can play and guard multiple positions. So excited to get him out there. Deshaun Jackson, what we're finding every single day is his confidence is growing. He's a guy that has really good hands and ability to finish around the basket. He has a natural scoring knack. Defensively, he's got great feet. He's intelligent. He's somebody that can really elevate our defense and then also be a rim protector. With Nate Heisey, a guy who's just a winning, competitive, tough. He's a contact-seeking, a guy that wants to guard the best player every possession. Offensively, keeps his game simple. Makes open shots, drives the closeout, makes the extra pass, really gets the ball moving. And then with Brant Chatfield, he brings a lot of the dynamics that we've come to expect from Robert Jones in terms of physicality, every possession block-out guy, somebody that takes pride in screening. And he's really been a huge bright spot for us in terms of what he's brought energy-wise every single day. So I think all four of those guys will have a really positive impact on our program they've done so already in what we've seen on the practice court.
Can you elaborate on Jefferson a little bit more, when you expect he'll be up and running?
Yeah, I think, it's probably best case scenario is towards the end of July. There's also a chance, we wrap up summer workouts, I think it's August 2nd. So there's also a chance that doesn't happen, and then we're pushed into the fall. So ultimately, once he is clear to run and get out there and do things, it's going to be about, making sure we have the best plan in place long-term for him to be successful, not try to rush him back, but yet have a sense of urgency because we know he's important.
What have been some of the early returns on the freshman class so far?
Yeah, I mean, there's two guys there, right, with Noyes and Dwayne. And I think with Noyes, a guy offensively who's really skilled, tremendous confidence, can really shoot the ball, IQ player, great feel, passer, just tremendous at. He has great feet defensively. He'll continue to elevate himself defensively because he's got the ability to do it. I think what we're demanding and what we demand defensively is a different standard than probably what he's been accustomed to in the past, but he's done a great job early. And with Dwayne Pierce, we really value guards that can play downhill and get into the paint and make plays. And Dwayne's a guy that, at his size, a bigger physical guard can find his way into the paint. So I think for both, how hard we need to play defensively is going to be something that they continue to learn and embrace. But both have a unique offensive skill set that allows them to stand out.
How's Taman coming along?
Yeah, Taman's great. I mean, I think we've talked about in the past, there's almost some times where he needs more of a break and more rest. So right now the challenge is getting great condition, be a great vocal leader, which he brought us in for the huddle at the end of practice today and did a great job communicating to the teammates' standards and what he wants to see and what he values. So right now, that's more of the focal point. Again, for him, it's probably a couple more weeks. Mid-July is my guess when he'll be slated to return. But similar to Joshua, we want to make sure that we're making the right long-term decision for him. It is still a long season. There's a lot in front of us, but always proud of Taman and always going to keep challenging Taman because as much as he's done, we know that he's capable of much more.
Is JT where you want him to be coming out of his redshirt season?
Yeah, I think for him, you have that first year, and everybody looks at it and is going to say, well, he redshirted. Now this should be the impact. And I think he's working every single day, and he's gotten a ton stronger. He's probably 260, north of 260. His body's moving great. And at the end of the day, every single day when you're on the practice court, there's a guy like Brant Chatfield. He's in his 6th year. Or Deshaun Jackson, who's in his 5th year. So I think for JT, there's still going to be opportunities to learn and grow because there's just, the front line, especially in our league, and we're fortunate in our program, at just so much older and so much more experience. So I'm happy with JT, to answer the question directly, like where he's at. But I also think it's important that, what people expect and see from, we still realize this would be his true freshman year. And without him coming in early, this would be his 2nd week of being in a college program after, coming from South Dakota. So it's still a really big jump.
You talked a lot last year about your daily habits. Do those change at all year to year, or how do you go about establishing those with some of the new players on your program?
Yeah, when I think daily habits, it's first of all like the schedule we keep, the discipline, accountability, how we walk through the door, how we shake hands, how we talk, how we communicate on the court, how we treat one another. Certainly there's a discipline to the things that we do on the court and how we do it. Those things don't change. From a basketball standpoint, daily habits, we're trying to make each guy the best version of himself. Our program's built on development, so we want to develop guys' skills and talents and abilities, which those vary from year to year. But in terms of the daily habits, to me, it's the schedule we keep, it's the effort we bring, it's how we treat one another. Those are the things that we want to be consistent as the basketball changes here and there.
What's Curtis Jones' role going to look like this season?
Yeah, it'd be great to see. I mean, certainly at the end of last year, I could argue that, Kurt led us in minutes played often, led us in scoring often, was shooting the ball and scoring the ball as well or better than anybody on our roster. Became a guy defensively that was a high steals guy, offensively a guy that valued the ball and was a high assist guy. So, again, we really value the competitive piece of practice. Kurt's one of our better players, certainly. And, the great thing about what we have going on right now is I don't care who it is. I don't know what anyone's role is. They're going to earn it every single day. We're in the second week of June. We play a game in the first week of November. So everybody out there has opportunity every day to earn it just like Kurt does. But I got a lot of confidence in him. And when you see how he ended the season, the level that he was playing, that was at such a high level. So Kurt's a guy we really believe in and expect big things from.
Coach, your first 3 seasons, those leading scorers all kind of came and went in the offseason. This is the first year you're returning a lot of those guys. What opportunities does that present as far as further development for those top guys?
Well, hopefully it means that, when I think about development, I'm thinking about all aspects, defense, rebounding, offensively, all those things. So what those guys have demonstrated is that they've been able to score the ball against some of the best defenses and some of the best teams in America. They've demonstrated that. Now, certainly we have an elevated expectation and standard for our team internally on what we can do and how we can do that. And those guys, it's where we have a starting point that might be ahead offensively of where we've been in the years past. So we're not as big on the numbers as the team and the mentality and the attitude, but I do feel like we have more ability to score the ball, more ability to shoot the basketball, and that's largely due to the continuity with the returning players that had success here last season.
Has your message to the guys been different as far as expectations go? Trying to control social media, all that stuff?
Yeah, I'm probably the worst coach in America at social media or being on it or knowing what goes on there. I know what goes on between our lines and between the lines on the court. That's where I'm going to be demanding. Just like I try to lead by example, I'm going to tell them I don't pay attention to any of it. It doesn't really have anything to do with anything. If we paid attention to it in years past, we would have finished at the bottom of the league based on where people had us. So I'm not going to bank on people's predictions this year to get us to the top of the league. What I'm going to bank on is our hard work every single day, the competitive spirit we bring, the togetherness we bring, and demand of our guys, that same standard I'm going to set for myself.
This time of the year offers a lot of opportunity for high school recruiting evaluation. How have you seen your brand, your program perceived potentially differently on the high school recruiting trail?
Yeah, I think when hopefully you establish some consistency and a track record over time of success, development. When people watch us play, hopefully they see our guys having a lot of fun, playing for one another, giving great effort, and they see them getting better and developing. And when you see those things year in and year out, it creates a confidence and a belief in young people that if they're to be in our program, they will win, they will have success, they will develop, they'll have fun. And those are things that are really important to me. And I think, when you come in at the onset, you're trying to sell hope in those areas. And now that we have, some things to back that up, I think it's been a really positive for us on the recruiting trail.
How would you describe how much fun this time of year is for you compared to, fans, they're probably enjoying March the most, right? But it feels like this might be the most enjoyable time for you because, A, you get guys re-emphasizing their daily habits and you get new guys coming in learning about those habits.
Yeah, for me personally, this is absolutely the best time of the year, without question. One, because you feel like it's Christmas. You have the new players coming in, and it's exciting to see what they can bring and the effort that they bring, and then cultivating a mindset of what this group can become. I enjoy the most of implementing those habits and that consistency on the day-to-day basis. That's what really gets me excited because I know when you put that in place that it's going to allow guys to be at their best. So I really do enjoy this part of the year. I enjoy because, you don't have as much of the outside noise, distraction, the stress of games. It allows me to have a better opportunity to connect with them as people, get to know them and what makes them tick and what they're about. And then we get to the court and you get to see guys every single day, adding things to their game and developing their game and seeing how it fits together. So, we're really fortunate to have such a great coaching staff. Our assistant jobs do a great job of teaching the basketball, teaching the drills, coaching guys up, spending the time mentoring them. And I think overall, like, this is the time of the year where we really feel like we separate our program from others by that investment that we make in the young men and then elevating their game and their development.
You have a lot of young guard or a lot of guards coming back, and in the front court you're going to have some new faces. But how much does that experience in the backcourt help kind of integrate them and get them rolling as you get into practice and the situations?
Yeah, I mean, the experience helps, but it's also the talent of those guys, where you have guys like Taman and Keyshawn and Kurt that have played at an all-conference level in Big 12 play. They know what it needs to look like. They know how hard we need to play. They know what our ball screen coverage needs to be. They know how physical it is. And so they got used to or demanded, from Rob Jones, what he brought, and now Hassan Ward and guys that have come before. So they have an idea of how it needs to look and how it needs to go. And those guys have a lot of toughness and grit and pride in our program to make sure that we get those things right. So it's not only the experience and the continuity, but it's the talent of all those returning guys. Those three guards, Demarion and Milan on the wing as well, just guys who they know what it needs to be and they know how it needs to look and they know what we need to demand every day to be successful.
When you go into a season that has all these expectations and Taman's going to be at the forefront of that, being an Ames kid, but he understands what it means to be at Iowa State. I mean, what does that bring, being able to have kind of a kid who's been around this before?
Yeah, well, I think Taman's character, work habits, the goals that he sets for himself as a person, as an athlete, as a student, they're already really high, and my job is to try to, grind 10% more out of what he already has, which is amazing. So for me, it's taking that challenge on of demanding more from him and everything, because I have so much confidence in his abilities and what he'll continue to do on the court. I also know that Taman's not a guy that spends a lot of time worrying what other people think or thought. If he had done that, he probably wouldn't have had the great freshman year he did, and if he'd have worried about that, he would have probably, fell victim to people questioning his shooting ability and then him proving them wrong. So what I really love about Taman is his confidence, his work ethic, and how he'll continue to do that. He'll set a high bar for himself, and I'll set it 10% higher than he does to really challenge him to even be better.